Welcome to Progression, a show where I, Hutch, walk you through the history of online multiplayer for the consoles in the Call of Duty series. We've already covered Call of Duty 2, 3, 4, and World at War, and today we're going to be covering Modern Warfare 2. Enjoy! Modern Warfare 2 is a pretty controversial game. There's no getting around it. For some, it was their first entry in the series and it was executed flawlessly. For others, it was a casual experience. For the hardcore crowd, it was excruciatingly frustrating, namely because it got so many things right, and it's hard to watch that not pay off. In order to truly take a look at the game, we're all going to have to put aside our knee-jerk reactions that normally come after being one-man army noob-tubed. We have to be able to recognize what the game got right as well as what ultimately ruined the experience for a lot of us. Let's begin. On November 10th, 2009, Infinity Ward launched Modern Warfare 2 for the PC, 360, and PS3 with record-breaking success. It even set a Guinness World Record for the most successful entertainment launch in all of history. All around the world, crowds in the hundreds lined up around Walmarts and GameStops alike, eager to start playing on day one. I, for one, was outside the GameStop near Market and Powell in San Francisco, along with 600 other fans. And I'm not alone when I say that I called in sick from work that day and the next, and pulled an all-nighter. I spoke last time about World at War and of Treyarch's approach to refining the model rather than reinventing it. And Infinity Ward sort of did both when it came to Modern Warfare 2. While sticking with customization, kill streaks, and perks, they attempted to go even deeper than before. Call of Duty is one of those games that tries so hard to reach the level of balance that we all want. And Modern Warfare 2, at the very least, took steps in the right direction. Customization was amazing in Modern Warfare 2. It might be old news to us now, but the fact that you had so many options to choose from when it came to attachments and perks in this game was pretty mind-blowing. The highest amount of attachments in COD 4 was 3. In World at War, a little more, and MW2 usually had around 10. With the newly introduced Bling perk, you were able to attach more than one gadget to your weapon, a feature that had been requested since COD 4. In fact, back then, it was rumored that you could do just that when you reached the final prestige. But, nope, that was bullshit. The perk mechanic was still in place, however, it was taken a step further by introducing pro variations that buffed each perk. I tend to think that this was a very clever way of expanding how much fun you can have with all these special little abilities. However, some of the requirements to upgrade to pro were pretty nuts. Most of us boosted SitRep Pro, because without doing so it would have taken someone weeks to do. Other pro requirements could happen in a night, so a little more balance on that end would have been nice. Kill streaks in MW2 were a huge selling point because it was the first time we were given the choice to customize them. With 15 to choose from in 3 slots, MW2 allowed the player to really cater to how strong they were. A beginner could rock the 3-4-5 and occasionally even manage a chopper gunner from a care package, and a strong player could rock the 5-7-11 and put up some insane numbers. If you wanted to end the game early, 7-11 and 25 got the job done. To most players' dismay. The idea of introducing a tactical nuke was good. I can imagine the discussion coming up in the creative process and how on paper it looked like an awesome feature to add. However, the nuke is ultimately what made the gameplay so unmanageable. With such a carrot being dangled in front of our faces, it changed how that sort of player approached the game. When you run 7-11 and 25, you tend to play a lot more passive than you normally might. In other words, you probably camped. And with so many people trying for nukes, each game was inevitably dominated by Harriers and chopper gunners rather than gun versus gun action. Nukes also gave birth to an ever-increasing population in the COD scene, the motherfucking booster. In at least a third of the FFA games you played, you'd hear the familiar zipping sound of a tactical insertion more often than not. With the ability to choose where you spawned, players quickly discovered that boosting for a nuke was much easier than earning one legit. While you could do it in team games as well, FFA was mostly the casualty for this abused mechanic. This was a bummer to a lot of us that loved the challenge of going up against 7 other guys. FFAs are a great way to improve awareness and gun skill, but alas in Modern Warfare 2 is reduced to hunting these assholes more than anything. While there were some valid concerns such as the lines blurring between core and hardcore and the noticeable lack of recoil, particularly with the UMP, let's focus on the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of us. One man, army, noob, tubes. With the ability to fully resupply after 3 seconds with the pro variation, one-man army when coupled with danger close and noob tubes was unstoppable. This was ultimately the last straw for me, and about halfway into the game's first year I walked away completely. This exploit was the best example of a longtime player's complaints that the game required substantially less skill than the previous titles. While some might call that nitpicky, it was essentially true. A player could hop on Modern Warfare 2 and do well after a couple of weeks because the game made it so accessible. Accessibility is important to a game, and players should feel an incentive to keep playing. However, Modern Warfare 2 was as easy as it got, especially if all you had to do was continuously shoot and resupply yourself with exploding death machines. So if Modern Warfare 2 was a step in the right direction, as I suggested earlier, just where was it headed? It's a funny thing to consider because Treyarch had a bad reputation with a lot of the hardcore crowd up until that point. Yet we all found ourselves looking to them to redeem the series. There was Modern Warfare 2, and then there was Black Ops.